Hello there, and welcome to this Sleepy Science Zone. What if the most powerful act of self-love you could practice tonight required absolutely no effort from you at all? What if, while you are simply lying there, maybe a little tired, maybe still thinking about the day, your brain is already beginning to reorganize itself in gentle, measurable, biological ways? Right now, nearly 86 billion neurons are communicating through tiny electrical pulses, forming patterns that reflect your habits of thought, your emotional history, and the way you speak to yourself when no one else can hear. And the remarkable truth is this: those patterns are not fixed. They are alive. They are adaptable. And many of the most important changes happen while you sleep. You do not have to force self-love tonight. You do not have to earn rest. You do not have to improve yourself before you are allowed to soften. In the science of neuroplasticity tells us that the brain reshapes itself based on repeated experiences, especially emotional ones. If self-criticism has been repeated often, those neural circuits become efficient, almost automatic. But if the brain begins to experience consistent signals of safety, even quiet, passive signals, new pathways can strengthen over time. So as you listen, nothing is required of you except gentle awareness. Notice the surface beneath your body. Notice the way gravity is holding you without asking anything in return. Your breathing is already happening on its own. Your heart is already beating steadily. There is an intelligence inside your body that knows how to regulate, how to recalibrate, how to return toward balance when given the right conditions. Research on the autonomic nervous system shows that when the body perceives safety, the parasympathetic branch becomes more active. Heart rate gradually slows, and muscles begin to release small, unnoticed tensions. Stress hormones, such as cortisol, begin to decrease. The amygdala, the brain's threat detection center, reduces its level of activation. And as that happens, the prefrontal cortex, the region associated with perspective and emotional regulation, can function more smoothly. Self-love, in scientific terms, is not a vague emotional slogan. It is the internal experience of reduced threat. It is the shift from chronic self-monitoring and harsh evaluation to a state of relative safety within your own mind. And safety is something the nervous system can learn. During deep sleep, especially in slow wave stages, the brain replays fragments of emotional experiences. In these stages, levels of stress-related neurochemicals are lower, creating an opportunity for emotional memories to be integrated with less intensity. This is one reason sleep is so essential for emotional resilience. And the brain is not just resting, it is editing, it is reorganizing, it is deciding which connections to strengthen and which to let fade. So if you have struggled with being kind to yourself, that does not mean you are flawed. It means certain neural pathways have been practiced more often than others. And practice can change. Repetition can change. Exposure to gentler input can change. As your eyes grow heavier, you may begin to notice the space between thoughts widening slightly. The mind does not need to be silent. It only needs to feel less threatened. Let this voice be one small signal of steadiness. Let the rhythm of these words move slowly enough that your breathing begins to match it without effort. There is nothing to achieve here. No insight you must grasp before sleep arrives. Simply by resting in a state of reduced internal pressure, you are already creating conditions that support neural repair. You are not here to fix yourself tonight. You are here to allow your biology to do what it has always known how to do when given safety: soften, reorganize, and heal. And as we continue, you may begin to feel it, not dramatically, not suddenly, but quietly. A small shift, a slight settling, the gentle beginning of remembering that your brain and your body have always been wired for repair. Now just begin to notice your breath as it already is, moving in and out without effort, without instruction. A steady rhythm that has been with you since the moment you were born. You do not need to change it suddenly. Simply observe it. The coolness of the inhale at the tip of your nose, the slightly warmer exhale leaving your body, the small rise and fall beneath your ribs. Breathing is unique in the human body because it belongs to both worlds. Automatic and voluntary. Your heart beats without permission. Your cells regulate themselves without awareness, but your breath sits at the edge of conscious influence, like a doorway between the thinking brain and the deeper survival systems. And when you gently guide that doorway, the rest of your nervous system listens. If you slightly lengthen your exhale, just a little longer than the inhale, receptors in your lungs and heart send signals upward through the vagus nerve toward the brainstem. This increases parasympathetic activity, the branch of your nervous system responsible for rest, digestion, and repair. Heart rate begins to soften. Blood pressure can lower slightly. Muscles receive the message that vigilance is no longer necessary. So allow your next inhale to be slow but unforced. Not the deepest breath you can take, just a smooth one. And then let the exhale stretch a little longer, like a quiet wave rolling back into the ocean. No strain, no dramatic sigh, just a subtle extension. Again, inhale gently and exhale slower. Good research on slow breathing patterns, especially around 5 to 6 breaths per minute, shows measurable increases in heart rate variability, a marker of emotional flexibility and resilience. Higher heart rate variability is associated with improved stress regulation and greater adaptability to changing environments. You are not trying to measure anything right now, but you are gently shifting the internal conditions that make regulation possible. As the breath steadies, notice your shoulders, and perhaps they are lowering by a fraction of an inch. Notice your jaw. Perhaps it is loosening slightly. These small muscular releases are not random. They reflect decreased activation in neural circuits associated with threat detection, particularly in regions like the amygdala. When breathing slows, the brain updates its prediction about safety. Your brain is constantly predicting safe or unsafe, calm or threatened. It uses internal cues, heart rate, muscle tension, and breath rhythm as evidence. When the evidence shifts towards slow and steady, the prediction shifts too. And when that prediction shifts, neural firing patterns begin to synchronize into slower oscillations, preparing for sleep. You may already feel that your thoughts are not racing as quickly. Perhaps there is a slightly wider gap between one idea and the next. That widening is natural. As carbon dioxide levels rise slightly with slower breathing, blood vessels dilate gently, increasing cerebral blood flow in ways that promote relaxation. This is not something you have to control. It is something your body knows how to do. Let your inhale remain easy. Let your exhale feel like a soft release of weight. Imagine that with each exhale, the internal volume of self-criticism decreases by just a small degree. Not erased, not denied, just quieter. The prefrontal cortex, the region involved in perspective and self-reflection, functions more effectively when the body is calm. When stress chemistry lowers, this region can help reinterpret experiences with greater balance. Slow breathing is not simply a relaxation trick. It is a biochemical shift that alters how thoughts are processed and integrated. Notice now the weight of your body against the surface beneath you. Notice how gravity holds you without judgment. Your breathing continues, steady, predictable, reliable. Inhale, smooth and gentle. Exhale, longer and softer. Each cycle sends the same message through your nervous system. Safe enough to loosen, safe enough to drift, safe enough for the brain to begin its nightly work of integration and repair. You do not have to force sleep. You are simply creating the internal environment where sleep can arrive naturally. And as your breath continues in this slow rhythm, your entire system moves one small step closer to rest. As your breathing continues in that slow, steady rhythm, we can begin to look gently at something many people misunderstand about self-love. It is not indulgence. It is not lowering standards. It is not ignoring growth. From a neuroscientific perspective, self-compassion is a regulatory strategy that changes how the brain processes perceived mistakes and social evaluation. When you make an error or remember something you wish you had done differently, specific brain regions activate quickly. The anterior cingulate cortex detects conflict as the amygdala evaluates potential threat, especially social threat. If the internal response is harsh self-criticism, stress pathways activate as though you are being judged externally. Cortisol can rise, muscle tension can increase. The body reacts as if survival is at stake. But studies using functional MRI have shown that when individuals practice self-compassion, even briefly, different neural networks become more active. Regions associated with caregiving and affiliation, and such as parts of the insula and the ventromedial prefrontal cortex, show increased engagement. These areas are linked to warmth, connection, and emotional soothing. In other words, the brain shifts from a threat defense mode into a care-based mode. You can imagine this as two different internal circuits. One circuit says, "You failed, fix it, protect yourself." The other says, "You struggled, stay steady, learn safely." Both aim to help you survive, but only one reduces internal stress enough to promote long-term resilience. As you lie here now, safe in this quiet space, consider how often your brain has practiced the first circuit, not because you chose it consciously, but because repetition wires efficiency. neural pathways that are used frequently become faster and more automatic through processes like long-term potentiation. Synapses strengthen, connections stabilize. The pattern becomes familiar, yet neuroplasticity does not disappear in adulthood. Even subtle changes in emotional tone can, over time, shift synaptic strength. When the internal voice becomes slightly more supportive, not exaggerated, not artificially positive, just less harsh, the physiological response changes. Heart rate variability improves, stress recovery time shortens, the amygdala's reactivity decreases gradually. Right now, as your breathing remains slow, you are in an ideal state for new associations. A calm physiology allows the hippocampus, the brain structure critical for memory integration, to encode experiences with less bias toward threat. That means even hearing gentle language about yourself can begin to layer over older patterns. You do not need to declare that you love everything about yourself. That is not the goal. The goal is safety. The goal is reducing unnecessary internal alarm. The goal is allowing mistakes to be processed without triggering a full stress cascade. Notice the weight of your body again. Notice how supported you are without performing. This physical experience mirrors the neural state we are gently encouraging. Supported without proving worth. If a thought arises about something unfinished, simply observe it. No need to push it away, but also no need to attach sharp commentary. Imagine placing that thought on a distant shelf. The brain learns not only from what you focus on, but from how intensely you react. With each slow breath, your vagus nerve continues sending calming signals upward. With each calm signal, the brain receives evidence, not under attack. And when the brain feels not under attack, it becomes more flexible, more capable of updating beliefs. Self-compassion is not weakness. It is an evidence-based method of decreasing maladaptive stress responses. Over time, this decreases baseline anxiety and increases emotional regulation capacity. And tonight, even this quiet understanding, received while your body softens, becomes part of the pattern. You are teaching your nervous system that growth does not require hostility, and that lesson, repeated gently, can rewire more than you realize. As your body continues settling, we move deeper into something beautifully biological, the chemistry of kindness. When you experience warmth, even internally generated warmth, specific neurochemicals shift in measurable ways. Oxytocin, often associated with bonding and trust, can increase when you feel safe connection, including connection toward yourself. Oxytocin does not only operate in social bonding between people, it also modulates the amygdala, reducing its fear response. It lowers blood pressure slightly. It promotes a sense of calm affiliation rather than isolation. When self-talk becomes less hostile, even subtly, the internal environment shifts toward this affiliative chemistry. At the same time, levels of stress hormones such as cortisol can gradually decline when perceived threat decreases. Chronic self-criticism keeps cortisol elevated more often than necessary. Elevated cortisol over long periods can impair sleep quality, immune function, and even hippocampal health. But when the internal environment signals safety, cortisol rhythms stabilize. Imagine that inside your brain, there are delicate balances constantly adjusting. Excitatory signals and inhibitory signals, stress chemistry and calming chemistry, kindness, even small amounts, tips that balance slightly toward inhibition of excessive threat response. It is not dramatic, it is incremental, but incremental shifts repeated nightly accumulate. Right now, as your breathing slows further, your body temperature may drop just slightly, a normal preparation for sleep onset. Melatonin secretion increases in darkness. Neural oscillations begin transitioning towards slower frequencies. In these slower frequencies, particularly during stage N3 slow wave sleep, synaptic pruning and strengthening occur. The brain refines what it has learned during the day. If the emotional tone present before sleep is harsh, those stress-tagged memories can consolidate with intensity. But if the tone is calm and steady, the integration process occurs under gentler neurochemical conditions. This does not erase challenges. It simply reduces unnecessary amplification. Notice how your eyelids feel now. Perhaps heavier, perhaps warmer. Notice how your limbs feel less distinct, edges softening into the surface beneath you. These are normal signs of decreasing sympathetic activation. The body is transitioning from action to restoration. Imagine kindness not as a dramatic statement, but as a subtle chemical shift, a lowering of internal alarms, a permission to exist without immediate correction. In caregiving research, inner warmth and consistent reassurance reduce stress reactivity in children's developing nervous systems. Interestingly, adults retain similar responsiveness. When the internal voice becomes reliably less threatening, the brain interprets that as environmental safety. And safety allows neural growth. You are not manufacturing a feeling right now. You are allowing conditions, like preparing soil before planting seeds. You are adjusting the chemical and physiological environment so that new patterns can take root naturally. Each slow breath reinforces the signal. Each moment of non-judgment reduces microsurges of stress. Your brain listens to these signals continuously. And as you drift closer to sleep, the chemistry of your body reflects what it perceives. If it perceives calm, it releases calm-supporting compounds. If it perceives safety, it reduces defense. So let this moment be simple and let your internal tone soften by even 1 degree. That single degree matters. In neural systems, small repeated shifts reshape long-term architecture. Kindness is not abstract, it is biochemical. And tonight, that quiet chemistry is already beginning to work in your favor. As your body grows heavier and your thoughts begin to move more slowly, your brain is preparing for one of its most sophisticated processes, the reorganization of emotional memory. Sleep is not a passive shutdown. It is an active neurological state in which the brain replays, reshapes, and sometimes gently reduces the intensity of emotional experiences from the day. During rapid eye movement sleep, often called REM sleep, the brain becomes highly active while the body remains deeply relaxed. In this stage, emotional memory networks, particularly those involving the amygdala and hippocampus, communicate intensely. What makes REM unique is its neurochemical environment. Levels of norepinephrine, a stress-related neurotransmitter drop dramatically. This creates a rare state in which emotional memories can be reactivated without the full force of stress chemistry attached to them. In simple terms, the brain can revisit emotional material in a calmer biological atmosphere. That calmer atmosphere changes how memories are stored. The factual components may remain, but the emotional charge can soften. If you have ever noticed that something felt overwhelming at night but more manageable the next morning, you have experienced this recalibration. It is not just perspective, it is neurobiology. Now imagine this process unfolding tonight. As you drift deeper, the tone you carry into sleep becomes part of the input. If the final state before sleep is harsh self-evaluation, that emotional tone tags memories with intensity. But if the final state is calm, steady, and minimally self-critical, that tone becomes the chemical backdrop against which integration happens. Your brain is not deciding whether you are worthy. It is processing patterns, and patterns associated with safety are integrated differently than patterns associated with threat. Notice your breath again. Slower now, softer, perhaps almost automatic without awareness. Notice the subtle warmth behind your eyes, the heaviness in your limbs. These sensations reflect decreasing cortical arousal. The electrical activity in the brain begins shifting towards slower frequencies, alpha waves giving way to theta, and eventually to slow delta waves. Theta activity is particularly associated with memory integration and creativity. In this state, the boundaries between rigid thought patterns loosen slightly. Associations become more fluid. This fluidity is why gentle, non-threatening ideas presented before sleep can influence how memories are consolidated. You do not need to analyze this, you only need to rest in it. The biological systems responsible for emotional recalibration are ancient and automatic. Imagine your brain tonight as a quiet editor working at a large wooden desk. Pages of experiences from the day are spread out gently. Nothing is being judged. Nothing is being criticized. The editor is simply reorganizing, smoothing edges, deciding what to store deeply and what to let fade. And because your body is calm, because your breathing has slowed, and because stress chemistry has decreased, the editor works under soft light rather than alarm sirens. This is how self-love rewires the brain, not through force, but through repeated exposure to safety during integration. As you continue drifting, know that your brain does not require perfection to heal. It requires conditions. And tonight, those conditions are forming naturally. Let your thoughts become hazier. Let images blur at the edges. The deeper systems are beginning their quiet work. And there is a common belief that being hard on yourself leads to better performance. For short bursts, acute stress can indeed increase focus. But chronic self-criticism activates prolonged stress responses that narrow cognitive flexibility and impair long-term resilience. When the brain remains in repeated threat mode, neural resources are directed toward vigilance. The amygdala becomes more reactive. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for nuanced decision-making and emotional regulation, becomes less efficient under sustained stress. Over time, this pattern can make self-critical thoughts feel automatic and justified, even when they are exaggerated. but flexibility can return. Neural flexibility depends on balanced activation between excitatory and inhibitory circuits. GABA, the brain's primary inhibitory neurotransmitter, plays a key role in calming excessive neural firing. States of relaxation, slow breathing, and reduced stress increase GABA activity. This allows thoughts to pass without triggering full activation cascades. As you lie here now, your brain is already shifting toward greater inhibitory balance. Slow wave preparation reduces overall cortical excitation. Muscle tone decreases. Sensory input dims. The environment is predictable and quiet. These conditions favor flexibility rather than rigidity. Self-compassion practices have been associated with reduced activity in the default mode network regions linked to rumination. Rumination strengthens repetitive negative thinking loops, but when attention shifts gently toward neutral or supportive internal language, those loops weaken through disuse. Neurons that fire together wire together, but neurons that stop firing together gradually weaken their connections. This is called synaptic pruning. It is how the brain refines itself. So if a self-critical thought arises tonight, notice it without energizing it. No internal debate, no forceful correction, just minimal engagement. This minimal engagement deprives the circuit of reinforcement. Over time, circuits that are not reinforced lose efficiency. Flexibility does not require dramatic positivity. It requires reduced repetition of threat signals. Notice how your body feels now compared to several minutes ago. Perhaps your limbs feel heavier. Perhaps your breathing is almost imperceptible. Perhaps your thoughts are less structured. And these are signs that cortical networks are disengaging from high alert processing. In this softened state, new associations can form quietly. A thought about yourself does not have to be sharp. It can be neutral. It can be steady. It can be unfinished. The brain values consistency more than intensity. Gentle repetition of safety reshapes architecture more reliably than occasional bursts of forceful affirmation. So let this state continue and let your nervous system settle deeper into parasympathetic dominance. Let inhibitory chemistry balance excitation. There is nothing you must prove tonight. Flexibility is returning naturally as the brain transitions towards sleep. And in that flexibility, the possibility for new internal patterns grows. Quietly, gradually, and without strain. As your awareness continues to soften, so we move gently into another truth about self-love that is deeply rooted in biology. Your brain is wired for connection. Even when you are physically alone in a quiet room, the neural systems that evolved for social bonding remain active. The human brain did not develop in isolation. It developed in tribes, families, communities. And because of that, perceived disconnection can register in the nervous system as threat. Research in social neuroscience shows that regions such as the anterior cingulate cortex activate both during physical pain and during experiences of social rejection. In other words, the brain processes social exclusion using some of the same circuitry as physical discomfort. This overlap explains why harsh self-judgment can feel so deeply unsettling. When you criticize yourself intensely, The brain may interpret that as internal social rejection. But here is the gentle shift. The same neural systems that respond to rejection also respond to warmth and inclusion, even self-generated inclusion. When you internally acknowledge your own struggle without condemnation, affiliative circuits become more active. Oxytocin pathways engage. Stress reactivity decreases. You can imagine your brain as constantly scanning for one simple signal. Am I alone in danger? Or am I connected and safe? Self-compassion changes that answer. It does not eliminate mistakes. It changes the relational tone in which those mistakes are processed. Right now, even as you lie quietly, your nervous system responds to the steady cadence of this voice as a predictable signal. Predictability reduces uncertainty. Reduced uncertainty lowers baseline anxiety, and lower anxiety allows deeper restorative sleep cycles to unfold more smoothly. Notice the subtle rhythm of your breathing again. Notice how it continues without instruction, as the steadiness of breath mirrors the steadiness of connection. You are not required to perform for this moment. You are simply existing, and existence itself is enough for the nervous system to settle when it feels safe. Studies on perceived belonging show that even brief reminders of connection can buffer stress responses. Interestingly, those reminders do not need to come from other people physically present. The brain responds to mental representations of safety as well. Imagined warmth can activate similar neural patterns to actual warmth. So as your mind drifts, allow the possibility that you are not isolated inside your own thoughts. Your brain evolved to be supported. It evolved to regulate through connection. And self-love, at its most biological level, is a form of internal companionship. You are not ignoring growth. You are shifting from internal exile to internal alliance. As sleep approaches, this shift becomes powerful, and the brain integrates emotional material differently when it perceives relational safety. Memories tagged with safety are stored with less alarm and more context. Let the idea settle gently. You are not alone inside your own nervous system. You are accompanied by ancient biological systems designed to protect and restore you. And tonight, those systems are beginning to feel safe enough to relax. As your thoughts become less defined, your brain edges closer to slow-wave sleep, the deepest non-REM stage, often called stage N3. In this stage, electrical activity across the cortex synchronizes into large, slow oscillations known as delta waves. These waves reflect millions of neurons firing in coordinated patterns, then resting together in rhythmic cycles. Slow-wave sleep is strongly associated with physical restoration and synaptic recalibration. During waking hours, these synaptic connections strengthen as you process information and experiences. By night, the brain must rebalance this growth to prevent overload. This is known as synaptic homeostasis. Weak or unnecessary connections are pruned. Important ones are stabilized. Imagine this as a garden being quietly tended in darkness. Some branches are trimmed, others are reinforced. The overall structure becomes more efficient. Emotional tone influences which connections are marked as important. Experiences tagged with high stress are prioritized differently than experiences tagged with calm reflection. By entering sleep in a state of reduced self-criticism, you influence the tagging process. You are not controlling it consciously. You are adjusting the conditions under which it happens. As your breathing remains slow, carbon dioxide levels stay balanced, supporting cerebral blood flow. Growth hormone secretion increases during early slow-wave sleep, aiding tissue repair and metabolic regulation. Even immune system activity shifts toward restoration. Your entire body participates in this nightly recalibration. Muscles release microtension. Inflammatory markers can decrease. Neural energy consumption shifts toward housekeeping processes, clearing metabolic waste through the glymphatic system. Cerebrospinal fluid flows more freely between brain cells during deep sleep, washing away byproducts accumulated during the day. All of this occurs more effectively when the nervous system enters sleep without excessive arousal. Chronic stress can fragment slow-wave sleep. Calm preparation supports its continuity. Notice now how your thoughts may feel less linear. Perhaps images flicker briefly. Perhaps language feels softer. These are natural signs that cortical control is loosening. The brain is preparing to transition from deliberate thinking to rhythmic restoration. You do not have to follow every word anymore. It is enough that your nervous system recognizes the tone. Safety does not require comprehension. It requires consistency. As delta waves gradually increase, neurons fire together in slow pulses, then fall silent together. This collective rhythm is deeply restorative. It reduces neural noise. It strengthens efficiency. It creates space for tomorrow's learning. Self-love, in this context, is not a mantra. It is the decision to enter sleep without unnecessary internal threat. It is the biological advantage of calm integration over alarm-driven consolidation. Let your body sink fully now. Let your jaw soften. Let your tongue rest gently. The slow waves are coming, and within them, the quiet architecture of your brain is being refined, not by force, not by urgency, but by the simple presence of safety as you drift deeper into rest. As you drift closer to sleep, there is a network in your brain that begins to quiet in a particular way. It is called the default mode network, often active when the mind is wandering, reflecting on the past, imagining the future, or evaluating the self. This network includes regions such as the medial prefrontal cortex and the posterior cingulate cortex, areas closely tied to your sense of identity and personal narrative. During the day, this network helps you make sense of who you are. It connects memories into a story. It evaluates choices. It replays conversations. But when overactive, it can also fuel rumination, repetitive loops of self-judgment and worry. What is fascinating is that as you transition towards sleep, especially into deeper stages, activity in the default mode network decreases. The rigid narrative of me begins to loosen. The tight grip of self-analysis softens. Right now, you may notice that thoughts feel less structured. They may appear in fragments rather than full sentences. And this is a natural sign that cortical networks responsible for linear storytelling are dimming. Self-love, in part, involves allowing this dimming without resistance. You do not need to solve your identity tonight. You do not need to resolve every memory. The brain is designed to periodically reduce the dominance of the narrative self so that restoration can occur. When the default mode network quiets and other networks, particularly those involved in sensory processing and slow-wave synchronization, take precedence, this shift reduces internal commentary. The emotional intensity attached to self-evaluative thoughts decreases. Imagine your sense of self not as a fixed object, but as a dynamic pattern of neural firing. During waking hours, that pattern can feel solid and urgent. But as sleep approaches, the pattern becomes more fluid. Edges blur. Categories dissolve. This fluidity is not loss. It is recalibration. Research shows that reduced rumination is associated with lower levels of anxiety and depression. Practices that gently disengage from repetitive self-focus, such as mindfulness or slow breathing, decrease default mode network activity. Tonight, you are allowing a similar disengagement naturally. Notice how it feels to not hold tightly to any particular thought. Notice how thoughts come and go more easily now, like clouds passing across a dim sky. You are not abandoning responsibility. You are allowing your brain to enter a state where repair is prioritized over evaluation. The story of who you are will return in the morning, but tonight, it is safe to loosen your grip on it. And in that loosening, something subtle happens. Without constant self-monitoring, the nervous system reduces background tension. Muscles remain soft. Breathing remains steady. Stress hormones continue to decline. The self that feels judged begins to fade, and what remains is simple awareness, quieter, less defined, less burdened. Let that quiet awareness expand. Let the narrative slow. The brain is shifting from identity construction to restoration, and within that shift, harsh self-definition loses its urgency. As you move even deeper, your brain begins increasing theta wave activity, rhythmic oscillations typically between 4 and 8 cycles per second. Theta waves are common in light sleep and also appear during deep meditation and creative states. They represent a bridge between waking cognition and deep, slow-wave restoration. In theta states, the brain becomes more associative. Connections between distant neural regions can activate more fluidly. This is one reason dreams often feel symbolic rather than literal. The mind is integrating information across networks that do not usually communicate as freely during focused, waking thought. Emotionally, theta activity is linked to memory processing within the hippocampus. Experiences from the day, especially emotionally significant ones, are replayed in altered form. The brain extracts meaning, reduces unnecessary intensity, and integrates lessons into broader frameworks. If the emotional climate entering sleep is harsh or anxious, that climate influences the integration process. But if the emotional climate is calm and steady, the integration occurs with less alarm. Right now, your breathing remains slow. Your body temperature continues its gentle nighttime drop. Muscle tone is minimal. These physiological changes support theta dominance. You may begin noticing that images arise briefly behind closed eyes, fleeting shapes, subtle colors, fragments of scenes. These are normal hypnagogic phenomena, early dreamlike imagery appearing as the brain transitions. There is nothing to analyze, just gentle drift. Self-love in this stage becomes less about words and more about tone. The tone of your nervous system, the softness of your internal atmosphere, the hippocampus, deeply involved in contextualizing memory, works alongside the amygdala to determine how emotionally charged a memory remains. Lower stress chemistry during integration means the amygdala's signal is moderated. Memories become more informational and less threatening. Imagine tonight's integration as water flowing around stones, with smoothing sharp edges gradually, not erasing the stone, simply softening it. Your mind may wander briefly and then dissolve again. That dissolving is healthy. It means cortical control is yielding to rhythmic synchronization. You do not need to stay fully aware now. Awareness can fade at the edges. Words can become distant. The important processes are not happening in conscious thought. They are happening in coordinated neural rhythms below the surface of awareness. Theta waves continue weaving connections. Slow waves prepare to deepen. And within this gentle oscillation, your brain is doing what it has evolved to do for millions of years: restore balance, refine patterns, and reduce excess emotional charge. Let yourself drift further. Let the images blur. Let the body feel heavy and warm. The integration has begun, and it continues quietly, whether you follow it or not. As you drift further into this quiet state, one of the most important shifts happening inside your brain involves a small, almond-shaped structure called the amygdala. The amygdala plays a central role in detecting threat. It scans constantly for danger, physical, social, emotional. When it senses risk, it activates stress responses rapidly, often before conscious thought has time to evaluate the situation. This system is essential for survival. But in modern life, the amygdala can become sensitized not only to physical threats, but to internal ones: memories of embarrassment, fear of rejection, harsh self-judgment. Over time, repeated self-criticism can train the amygdala to react as though your own thoughts are threats. Yet the amygdala is not fixed in its reactivity. It learns from patterns. Studies show that consistent exposure to safe, regulated states reduces amygdala activation over time. Practices that promote calm breathing, self-compassion, and non-judgmental awareness are associated with measurable decreases in amygdala responsiveness. Right now, as your body remains heavy and supported, your slow breathing sends steady signals upward. No immediate danger. The prefrontal cortex, when not overwhelmed by stress chemistry, can gently inhibit excessive amygdala firing. This is called top-down regulation. But there is also bottom-up regulation, when the body itself signals safety first and the brain updates accordingly. That is what you are allowing now. Notice how your chest rises and falls with little effort. Notice how your limbs feel distant, perhaps slightly numb with relaxation. These sensations reflect reduced sympathetic activation. The fight or flight system is quieting. As the amygdala receives repeated evidence of calm, breath steady, muscles soft, environment quiet, it recalibrates. It does not need to stand guard as intensely. Imagine a watchtower lowering its alert level from red to amber, from amber to green. The guards are still there. The system is still intact. But the urgency fades. In sleep research, decreased amygdala reactivity is associated with improved emotional resilience the following day. When sleep is fragmented, the amygdala can become more reactive, amplifying stress responses. But when sleep is continuous and restorative, the emotional brain becomes more balanced. Tonight, by entering sleep with less internal hostility, you are helping the amygdala learn something new. Not every internal signal requires defense. You may feel your thoughts slowing even further now. Perhaps they arrive as single words instead of full ideas. Perhaps they dissolve before finishing. This fading reflects cortical networks disengaging from deliberate processing. Let them fade. You are not losing control. You are shifting into trust. Trust in the biological systems that know how to protect you without constant conscious supervision. Each slow exhale continues to reinforce the same quiet message, safe enough. And the amygdala, listening carefully as it always does, begins to stand down. As deeper sleep approaches, another important region, the prefrontal cortex, begins transitioning out of its daytime leadership role. During waking hours, this region helps you plan, evaluate, compare, and regulate impulses. It is the architect of long-term goals and the narrator of moral judgment. But the prefrontal cortex is sensitive to stress. Elevated cortisol impairs its efficiency. Chronic self-criticism narrows its flexibility. When the nervous system is constantly activated, this region struggles to maintain balanced perspective. Tonight, as stress chemistry continues to decline, the prefrontal cortex is no longer fighting to regulate threat signals. Instead, it begins gently integrating the day's experiences in cooperation with slower brain rhythms. Perspective does not always require intense analysis. Sometimes perspective emerges naturally when emotional arousal decreases. You may notice now that events from earlier today feel less sharp than they did hours ago. The urgency has faded slightly. That is not avoidance. It is recalibration. Functional imaging studies show that when individuals practice self-compassion, the prefrontal cortex exhibits increased connectivity with emotion-regulating regions. And this connectivity supports reinterpretation, the ability to see mistakes as part of learning rather than as personal failures. As your body sinks deeper into the mattress, imagine your thoughts resting as well. The analytical voice grows quieter. The judging tone softens. You do not need to rehearse conversations. You do not need to draft tomorrow's plans. The executive systems of the brain are dimming their lights for the night. Sleep naturally reduces prefrontal dominance during dream states, allowing emotional memory to be processed without rigid logic. This temporary suspension of strict evaluation can be restorative. It loosens mental knots that felt immovable earlier. Right now, your internal atmosphere is calm enough to support that loosening. Notice how your jaw remains relaxed. Notice how your tongue rests gently. Notice how even the space behind your forehead feels less tense. The prefrontal cortex is not disappearing. It is simply yielding to slower, deeper rhythms. In this yielding, harsh self-assessment loses its intensity. Without strong activation, critical thoughts lack the energy to sustain themselves. Let your mind drift further. Let perspective widen without effort. Tomorrow, clarity will return. But tonight, clarity is not required. Restoration is. And in this quiet surrender of constant evaluation, your brain reorganizes more smoothly. Connections rebalance. Emotional tone softens. The systems that once felt overworked are finally allowed to rest. And stay here in this gentle dimming. Perspective is becoming lighter, and the night is carrying you deeper into repair. By now, your mind may feel distant from structured thought. Words may drift in fragments. Images may surface briefly and dissolve. This is the threshold where the brain's internal editor becomes more active than the conscious narrator. Throughout the day, your hippocampus encodes experiences rapidly. Conversations, expressions, mistakes, small victories, subtle disappointments, and it does not judge them. It simply records patterns. But at night, particularly during cycles that alternate between slow wave and REM sleep, those recordings are reorganized. Memory consolidation is not a simple replay. It is selective strengthening and weakening. Synaptic connections that represent frequently activated patterns become more stable. Others are pruned away. Emotional intensity influences this selection. Highly stressful experiences are often tagged for priority processing. However, the neurochemical environment matters. During REM sleep, stress-related neurotransmitters like norepinephrine are significantly reduced. This creates a condition where emotional memories can be reactivated without triggering the full physiological stress response. The brain can revisit without reliving at the same intensity. Tonight, because your nervous system has entered sleep from a place of relative calm, the memories being integrated are bathed in a softer chemical atmosphere. That matters. It changes the tone of consolidation. Imagine your hippocampus as a quiet archivist in a dimly lit room. Stacks of papers from the day lie scattered across a desk. The archivist does not scold the pages. It does not argue with them. It simply decides where each belongs. Which shelf, which folder, which long-term network of meaning. Self-love, in this context, is not a dramatic emotion. It is the absence of unnecessary hostility during sorting, and it is the difference between filing a document gently and slamming it into a drawer. You may feel yourself drifting in and out of awareness now. That drifting is natural. The brain's thalamus, a relay center for sensory input, reduces the flow of external information to the cortex as sleep deepens. External noise fades in importance. Internal rhythms dominate. Without heavy sensory demands, more neural resources are available for internal reorganization, and the glymphatic system increases its activity, clearing metabolic byproducts between brain cells. Cerebrospinal fluid pulses more freely in slow-wave sleep, washing away waste accumulated during waking cognition. This biological cleansing parallels emotional cleansing. It is not dramatic. It is subtle and rhythmic. Notice how it feels to not follow every thought to completion. Notice how thoughts dissolve halfway through forming. This dissolution reflects the weakening of rigid narrative loops. Your brain is not erasing who you are. It is refining how experiences are stored. Tonight's calm state tags today's experiences with reduced alarm. Over time, repeated nights like this alter baseline emotional reactivity. You are not forcing change. You are allowing reorganization. Let the archivist continue its quiet work. Let the pages shuffle softly. Let memory integrate without strain. There is no urgency here, only gentle editing in the background of sleep. As the cycles of sleep continue, then something profound begins to shift at a foundational level. The brain constantly maintains a baseline expectation about the world. Is it generally safe or generally threatening? This expectation influences how quickly stress responses activate during the day. Chronic self-criticism can subtly bias this baseline toward threat. Even neutral situations may be interpreted through a defensive filter, but repeated exposure to calm internal states can slowly recalibrate that baseline toward safety. Baseline expectations are encoded through repeated patterns of neural firing. If the amygdala frequently activates in response to self-evaluative thoughts, those pathways strengthen. If, however, calm states repeatedly occur without negative consequences, inhibitory circuits grow more efficient. Right now, your brain is experiencing sustained calm without danger. Breathing remains slow. Muscle tone is minimal. Environmental stimuli are predictable, and these conditions provide powerful evidence to the nervous system that relaxation is not risky. Over time, this evidence accumulates. The brain updates its predictive models. Instead of expecting internal criticism, it begins to anticipate neutrality or even steadiness. Predictive processing theories suggest that the brain is constantly generating models of what will happen next, both externally and internally. When those predictions are repeatedly disconfirmed, for example, and when self-reflection does not lead to harsh attack, the model shifts. You may not consciously feel this shift tonight. It is incremental. But incremental change is how neural architecture evolves. Imagine safety not as an emotion, but as a baseline setting, like adjusting the brightness of a screen slightly lower each night. Eventually, the entire display appears softer. As sleep deepens, delta waves dominate, synchronizing large networks of neurons, and this synchronization promotes efficient communication and resets synaptic strength. The brain conserves energy while maintaining essential connections. Your entire system is cooperating in this recalibration. Hormonal rhythms align with circadian cycles. Growth and repair processes activate. Immune regulation improves. And at the psychological level, the expectation of internal attack softens. You are not declaring unconditional love in dramatic language, but you are simply removing repeated signals of threat. That alone shifts baseline tone. Notice how distant everything feels now. Thoughts may appear like echoes. The body may feel warm and heavy, almost indistinguishable from the surface beneath you. This is the nervous system settling into trust. Trust that rest is allowed. Trust that integration can happen without force. Trust that the baseline can move from tension toward ease. Stay here. The deeper rhythms are steady now, and within those rhythms, safety is slowly becoming the default setting of your inner world. Somewhere in this deepening quiet, a small realization begins to form. Not sharp, not loud, not demanding attention, but soft and spacious. Your brain has never been trying to harm you. Every self-critical thought, every surge of anxiety, every moment of internal pressure has been an attempt at protection. The nervous system evolved to anticipate danger because, for most of human history, danger was frequent and immediate. A hyper-alert brain survived longer than a complacent one. So when your mind replays a mistake or anticipates judgment, it is not evidence that you are flawed. It is evidence that your survival circuits are strong. But survival circuits are not always calibrated to modern reality. They can overfire, they can generalize, they can treat social discomfort as existential threat. And this is where the quiet beauty of neuroplasticity matters, and the brain that learned vigilance can also learn balance. The circuits that once amplified threat can be reshaped through repeated exposure to safety. Right now, as you rest in this softened state, your brain is experiencing something subtle but profound, calm without consequence. There is no attack following relaxation. There is no punishment following self-reflection. That experience is instructive. In neuroscience, prediction error drives learning. When the brain expects danger and none occurs, it updates its model. Over time, repeated non-threatening outcomes reduce hypervigilance. Tonight, your nervous system expected nothing dramatic. It received calm. That is a small but powerful prediction error in the direction of safety. You may not consciously register this shift. It happens below awareness, in patterns of synaptic weighting and inhibitory regulation. But the effect accumulates. Here is the realization, in whispered rather than declared. You do not need to fight yourself to grow. Growth supported by safety is more sustainable than growth driven by fear. Neural networks stabilize more effectively under moderate arousal than under chronic stress. Creativity expands when the amygdala is not dominating cortical resources. Learning consolidates more reliably in regulated states. Self-love, at its most scientific level, is not indulgence. It is optimization of long-term neural efficiency. As this understanding settles, it does not need to energize you. It can simply rest like a quiet truth in the background of your sleeping brain. Every cell in your body prefers equilibrium. Every neuron prefers balanced firing over chronic overload. You are built for restoration. And tonight, in this slow descent, you are allowing that design to function as intended. No urgency, no dramatic insight, just the gentle awareness that you are not at war with yourself, and you are a system learning to recalibrate, and that recalibration is already underway. Now the words themselves may feel distant. The edges of meaning blur. Language becomes less important than tone. This is where thinking loosens its grip. As delta waves dominate more fully, large networks of cortical neurons synchronize in slow oscillations. Firing, pausing, firing, pausing. These synchronized rhythms reduce random neural noise and strengthen essential pathways. In this state, their consciousness thins. Awareness flickers. Sensory input is filtered heavily by the thalamus, allowing internal rhythms to take precedence. You do not need to follow ideas now. It is enough that your nervous system recognizes steadiness. Imagine yourself floating in a vast, dark ocean, not cold, not threatening, but calm and buoyant. You are supported by the water without effort. Gravity feels distant, edges feel soft. This imagery mirrors what is happening neurologically. Our boundaries between rigid self-concepts soften. Emotional intensity diffuses. Neural circuits communicate in broad, slow pulses rather than sharp spikes. The brain's glymphatic system continues clearing metabolic waste. Growth hormone peaks in early night cycles, supporting cellular repair. Immune cells redistribute, preparing the body for restoration. All of this unfolds more efficiently in uninterrupted, calm sleep. Let your jaw remain loose. Let your tongue rest gently against the floor of your mouth. Let your eyes sink deeply behind closed lids. There's nothing left to analyze, nothing left to understand. The deeper systems are in charge now. If a thought briefly surfaces, it may feel like a faint ripple across a still lake, and then it disappears. That disappearance is natural. The brain is prioritizing rhythm over narrative. Self-love in this state is no longer a concept. It is the absence of internal struggle, and it is the permission to drift without monitoring yourself. Breathing continues. Heart rate remains steady. Muscles are heavy and warm. The architecture of your brain is being refined in darkness, not through effort, not through willpower, but through synchronized rest. Drift further. Let the ocean deepen. Let awareness dim gently, like a light turned down gradually instead of switched off. You are safe now, safe enough to release the last fragments of control, safe enough to let sleep carry you completely. By now, your body may feel less like separate parts and more like one continuous field of warmth and weight. The boundaries between your shoulders and the mattress, between your legs and the sheets, may feel blurred. This is a natural progression as muscle tone decreases further and sensory processing dims. During deeper stages of non-REM sleep, motor neurons reduce their firing rate significantly. The body conserves energy. Microtensions that were invisible during the day release fully. Even the tiny stabilizing muscles around your eyes and jaw soften. You may notice that swallowing happens less frequently, that your breathing is so gentle it almost disappears from attention, that your heartbeat feels slower, steadier, farther away. All of this reflects parasympathetic dominance, the rest and digest system fully engaged. Blood pressure lowers, digestive repair processes increase, your cells shift from active output to maintenance and restoration. Your brain no longer needs to scan the environment intensely. The thalamus filters out non-essential sensory signals. The cortex synchronizes in wide, slow pulses. In evolutionary terms, deep sleep could only occur when safety was high. The fact that your body is allowing this descent means your nervous system has judged the environment and your internal world safe enough. That judgment matters. Each night, your system enters deep sleep without internal hostility. It reinforces the association between rest and safety. Over time, sleep onset becomes smoother, emotional resilience improves, baseline tension decreases. Right now, there is nothing to hold up, no posture to maintain, no alertness required. The body is supported from beneath. Gravity carries the weight. Imagine any remaining tightness dissolving downward, through the mattress, through the floor, into the earth. There is no effort in this release, only surrender to what is already happening biologically. Your immune system is recalibrating. Your tissues are repairing microscopic wear. proteins are being synthesized, hormonal rhythms are aligning, and beneath all of it, the emotional brain rests from defense. The amygdala remains quiet. The prefrontal cortex is dim. The default mode network has loosened its narrative grip. You are not managing yourself anymore, and you are being managed by ancient rhythms that evolved long before language. Let your fingers soften completely. Let your toes loosen. Let the space behind your eyes feel wide and dark. There's nowhere to go, only deeper into rest. Now awareness itself becomes thin and spacious. Thoughts are no longer full shapes, they are faint impressions. Time feels less linear. The sense of before and after weakens. This transition marks the brain's deeper immersion into synchronized, slow-wave patterns. Large populations of neurons fire together and fall silent together, creating powerful restorative oscillations. In this silence between neural pulses, energy is conserved. Synaptic recalibration continues. Emotional tone stabilizes. You may not even notice when one thought ends and another begins. You may not notice when the voice feels farther away. That fading is not loss, it is descent. Breathing remains steady. Warm air moves in. Slightly warmer air moves out, and the rhythm continues without supervision. Imagine drifting through a wide, dark sky. No stars demanding attention, no bright lights, just a vast, gentle expanse. This is the final letting go of the day's cognitive effort. The executive systems have powered down. The evaluative circuits are quiet. The memory editor has finished its initial sorting. Now, the brain rests in pure rhythm, safe, supported, unobserved by its own criticism. If any trace of self-judgment tries to form, or it lacks the energy to complete itself, it dissolves before it sharpens. This is what happens when the nervous system is not fighting itself. It sleeps, and in sleeping, it repairs. You do not need to hear every word now. The tone is enough. The steadiness is enough. You are safe now. Drift away. Drift away. Let the rhythm carry you fully beyond thought, beyond effort, into the quiet biological wisdom that knows exactly how to restore you through the night. Somewhere beyond clear awareness, and your brain continues its steady work. Even if you no longer consciously register these words, your nervous system remains attuned to rhythm. The deeper layers of sleep unfold in cycles, each one slightly different from the last, moving between slow-wave restoration and periods of REM integration. During slow-wave phases, synchronized delta activity dominates. These large oscillations help downscale excess synaptic strength accumulated during the day. In this process, prevents neural overload and maintains efficiency. Think of it as resetting the volume of countless microscopic connections so that tomorrow's learning has space to occur. Then, gradually, REM sleep emerges again. Brain activity becomes more desynchronized, resembling wakefulness in some ways, yet the body remains deeply still. Emotional networks communicate freely. Memories mix with imagination. The hippocampus and cortex exchange information in embedding experiences into broader frameworks of meaning. Because your descent into sleep tonight carried less internal threat, the emotional tone guiding these integrations is softer. Stress hormones remain low. The amygdala does not surge with intensity. The brain weaves memory without alarm. Over repeated nights, this matters. Emotional resilience is not built in a single dramatic shift. It forms through thousands of small, calm integrations. Your heart continues beating steadily, and blood moves quietly through vessels. Cells repair DNA damage. Proteins fold and refold correctly. The immune system recalibrates inflammatory responses. Even at this depth, the vagus nerve maintains a gentle dominance, reinforcing parasympathetic balance. This balance influences cardiovascular health, digestion, and mood regulation the following day. You may be far from structured thought now. Words may barely register, but the tone of safety continues to shape the neurochemical landscape in which consolidation occurs. The brain does not distinguish sharply between emotional safety offered by others and emotional safety offered internally. Both reduce threat perception, both shift physiology, and so the night continues. Delta waves rise and fall like distant tides. REM phases shimmer and pass. Each cycle refines the architecture of neural pathways that determine how you will interpret tomorrow's experiences, and self-love, at this depth, is simply the absence of self-conflict during integration. It is the biological advantage of calm consolidation over alarm-driven encoding. There's nothing to do now, nothing to follow, only the continuation of deep rhythmic repair. While you remain immersed in sleep, your brain is not only processing the past, it is preparing the architecture of tomorrow. Neural circuits involved in attention, emotional regulation, and decision-making are subtly recalibrated during each cycle. Research consistently shows that adequate high-quality sleep improves prefrontal cortex functioning the next day. This means clearer judgment, more flexible thinking, and greater emotional balance. When sleep is deep and continuous, the amygdala responds less intensely to negative stimuli. Emotional reactivity decreases. Tonight's calm descent contributes to that recalibration. Because stress chemistry was low as you entered sleep, because slow wave continuity was supported. Synaptic pruning and strengthening occurred efficiently. Because emotional integration happened under reduced norepinephrine conditions, memories were stored with less intensity. All of this shapes how tomorrow will feel. Perhaps challenges will arise. They always do. But the baseline from which you meet them will be slightly steadier. The gap between stimulus and reaction will be slightly wider, hence the internal voice may be slightly less sharp. These changes are not dramatic transformations. They are architectural adjustments. Small changes in neural connectivity can produce meaningful shifts in perception and response. Imagine the brain as a vast city at night. Construction crews work quietly while the streets are empty. Bridges are reinforced. Roads are smoothed. Electrical lines are recalibrated. By morning, traffic flows more efficiently. Not because the city changed overnight in appearance, but because the infrastructure was refined. Your neural city is undergoing that refinement now. The systems that once overreacted are being tuned. The circuits that support steadiness are being strengthened. And none of this required force. Only rest. Only safety. Only the gentle willingness to let go. As the cycles continue, you drift deeper into restoration, and the architecture of tomorrow forms silently beneath awareness. And when morning eventually comes, far from now, you will rise from a brain that has quietly reorganized itself in favor of balance. For now, remain here, safe, drifting, resting within the steady rhythms that have carried you through every night of your life. Deep within the layers of sleep, beyond deliberate awareness, your brain continues responding to patterns. The subconscious mind does not analyze the way the waking mind does. It does not debate or argue. It absorbs tone, repetition, and emotional context. Neural networks strengthen through repeated activation. This principle, often summarized as neurons that fire together, wire together, operates quietly across your lifetime. When certain emotional reactions are repeated, and they become default pathways. But when new emotional tones are repeated, even gently, those two begin forming stable connections. Tonight, the repetition has been subtle: slow breath, steady voice, absence of urgency, absence of attack. These are signals. They are small, but they are consistent. And consistency shapes neural expectation. The subconscious does not require dramatic declarations of self-love. It responds to the quiet removal of threat. When harsh internal commentary is not reinforced, the circuits responsible for it weaken slightly through lack of activation. This weakening is gradual but measurable at the level of synaptic strength. As sleep cycles continue, the hippocampus coordinates with cortical regions to embed patterns more deeply. Emotional tone becomes part of the encoding. Safety paired with self-reference becomes a learned association. You may be fully asleep now, awareness dissolved into deeper rhythm that is perfectly natural. These processes are not dependent on conscious listening. The nervous system integrates patterns regardless. Heart rate remains slow. Blood pressure remains reduced. Cortisol levels stay low through early night cycles. Growth hormone pulses continue supporting tissue repair. The subconscious brain is not separate from the biological brain. It is the vast network of automated processes beneath deliberate thought, and it learns primarily from repetition and emotional consistency. Each calm night like this builds evidence that internal reflection does not require hostility, evidence that rest is safe, evidence that mistakes do not equal danger. Over time, these repeated safe nights alter baseline expectation. Emotional reactions soften. The startle response decreases. Recovery from stress becomes faster. You are not programming yourself with force. You are allowing repetition of calm to become familiar. In familiarity, there is comfort. In comfort, there is regulation. The subconscious absorbs the pattern of safety the way soil absorbs gentle rain, quietly, without announcement. And that absorption continues now, beneath the surface of awareness. Sleep unfolds in cycles of approximately 90 minutes, moving through stages in predictable sequences. Slow-wave sleep dominates earlier cycles. REM sleep lengthens toward morning. Each phase contributes differently to restoration. In slow-wave stages, metabolic waste is cleared, synaptic recalibration occurs, and the body focuses on physical repair. In REM stages, emotional memory integration intensifies, creativity networks activate, and complex associative processing emerges. These rhythms are not random. They are orchestrated by circadian signals originating in the suprachiasmatic nucleus of the hypothalamus, your internal clock. As darkness increases, melatonin secretion rises, guiding the body towards sleep. As night progresses, hormonal patterns shift to support repair. Tonight, because the descent into sleep was smooth and unforced, these cycles can proceed with fewer interruptions. Micro-awakenings may still occur. They are normal. But the overall architecture remains intact. Intact architecture supports emotional stability. Studies show that fragmented sleep increases next-day amygdala reactivity and reduces prefrontal regulatory capacity. Conversely, consolidated sleep improves mood regulation and cognitive flexibility. Right now, your cycles are unfolding naturally. Slow waves deepen. REM phases shimmer briefly and fade. Heart rate variability remains elevated in parasympathetic dominance. The body trusts the environment enough to release vigilance. This trust is not abstract. It is physiological. It is measurable in reduced sympathetic tone and increased vagal influence. You may be entirely unaware of these transitions, drifting between dream and deeper darkness. That is the design. Conscious monitoring would interfere with restoration. The rhythms that restore you are ancient, refined over millions of years of evolution. They operate most efficiently when not interrupted by stress or internal alarm. And so, the night continues. Delta pulses rise and fall. REM imagery forms and dissolves. The brain clears, consolidates, refines. You remain supported by steady breath, by predictable darkness, by the absence of urgency. There is no effort here, only rhythm, only cycles repeating in quiet perfection. And within those cycles, the foundations of emotional balance strengthen, not dramatically, not suddenly, but steadily. Rest continues, repair continues, and the gentle rewiring of safety continues, deeper than thought, and carried forward by the rhythms that have always known how to restore you. Somewhere in the deeper layers of sleep, beyond dreams you may or may not remember, neural pathways associated with care and affiliation continue to stabilize. During waking life, when you experience warmth toward yourself or others, specific networks activate, including regions of the medial prefrontal cortex, the anterior insula, and parts of the striatum involved in reward and bonding. These circuits are not only emotional, they are regulatory. Activation of affiliative networks dampens excessive threat responses. Over time, repeated pairing of self-reference with warmth strengthens these pathways, making compassionate responses more accessible and less effortful. Tonight, even subtle exposure to non-threatening self-reflection becomes part of that pairing. The brain does not require dramatic emotional intensity to learn. It requires repetition under consistent neurochemical conditions. During REM sleep, associative networks activate broadly. The brain links concepts that were previously separate. If safety and self-identity are repeatedly experienced together, even softly, the connections between them grow stronger. This strengthening does not erase past experiences of criticism or shame. It balances them. neural systems operate on gradients, not absolutes. An increasing activation of care circuits reduces the relative dominance of threat circuits. You may drift through dreams where faces appear, scenes shift, time bends. In those dream states, the amygdala and limbic structures remain active, but without the full force of waking stress chemistry. Emotional experiences are explored symbolically, sometimes abstractly. Within this symbolic processing, the brain experiments with new combinations. It may rehearse resilience. It may simulate resolution. It may soften previously rigid associations. All of this occurs without conscious effort. Heart rhythm remains steady. Respiration continues quietly. Hormonal pulses rise and fall in coordination with sleep stages. Compassion at the neural level is not fragile. It is a biologically supported mode of regulation. It evolved to maintain social bonds and group survival. When directed inward, it engages the same stabilizing mechanisms. Over many nights like this, compassionate circuitry can become more accessible than harsh self-judgment. The threshold for self-attack increases. The nervous system learns that internal dialogue does not have to trigger alarm. This learning is slow, cumulative, and deeply biological. You remain immersed in cycles of restoration. Words no longer matter. The pattern matters. And the pattern of safety paired with self-awareness continues embedding itself quietly within the architecture of your sleeping brain. Though external dawn may still be far away, internally, your brain is already moving gradually through its cycles. As the night progresses, REM phases lengthen, dreams become more vivid, the body remains still while the brain rehearses emotional and cognitive scenarios in fluid, symbolic form. Toward later cycles, cortisol levels begin to rise naturally in preparation for waking. This rise is part of the circadian rhythm and does not signal stress. It signals readiness, because the earlier parts of the night allowed for deep, slow-wave recalibration. This later rise in arousal occurs on a steadier foundation. Emotional reactivity remains moderated. The architecture of tomorrow is almost fully prepared. Synaptic pruning has refined networks. Essential connections have been reinforced. Memory traces have been integrated into broader cortical maps. You may not recall the details of your dreams, but their function has unfolded regardless. An emotional tone has been adjusted. Context has been added to experiences that once felt overwhelming. When sleep cycles complete effectively, the prefrontal cortex regains leadership in the morning with improved regulatory capacity. The amygdala responds with slightly less volatility. The default mode network reactivates with a baseline shaped by the night's integration. All of this preparation is happening quietly now. Your body remains heavy and supported, breath steady, muscles fully relaxed. Imagine the internal landscape like a forest after gentle rain. The air feels clearer. The ground feels settled. Nothing dramatic has changed, yet everything feels subtly renewed. Self-love, in this final deep stretch of night, is simply the continuation of non-conflict. It is the absence of unnecessary internal struggle as restoration completes its cycle. You are not holding yourself together. You are being held by rhythm. Sooner or later, not now, not yet, waking will arrive. But when it does, it will rise from a nervous system that has spent hours recalibrating in safety. For now, remain within the final waves of night. Let dreams pass without grasping. Let cycles finish without interruption. The quiet rewiring continues until morning, steady and precise, guided by biology, supported by calm, shaping a slightly softer internal world for the day to come. As the night deepens into its later cycles, something even more refined begins to take place. It beyond memory consolidation, beyond emotional recalibration, your brain continues shaping the most complex construct it maintains, your sense of self. Identity is not a fixed entity stored in one location. It is an emergent pattern, distributed across cortical midline structures, limbic networks, autobiographical memory systems, and predictive processing circuits. Throughout the day, your sense of self updates constantly. Every interaction, every success, every perceived mistake adds small data points to an ongoing model of who I am. This model is maintained largely by networks such as the medial prefrontal cortex and posterior cingulate cortex, components of the default mode network. But here is the quiet truth. Identity is plastic. The brain does not store a permanent verdict about you. It stores probabilities. It predicts based on prior patterns. When self-criticism is frequent, the predictive model begins leaning toward negative self-evaluation, not because it is accurate, but because it is familiar. Neural efficiency favors repetition. The more often a thought pattern fires, the more easily it fires again. Yet during sleep, particularly REM-rich later cycles, the rigidity of self-representation loosens. Emotional memories are recontextualized. The brain weaves new associations between past experiences and current states. If calm and safety are repeatedly paired with self-reference before sleep, that pairing becomes part of the identity model. Tonight, your brain is updating probabilities. It is adjusting the expected emotional tone associated with me. The absence of internal hostility becomes data. The presence of steady regulation becomes data. You may still be dreaming, perhaps unaware of any structured narrative, but even dream imagery can contribute to identity reshaping. In dreams, the brain simulates social interactions, challenges, resolutions. Emotional responses are rehearsed in a lower stakes environment. When stress chemistry is low, these simulations can promote adaptive flexibility rather than reinforcing fear. Physiologically, your heart continues its slow rhythm. REM sleep introduces subtle fluctuations in breathing and heart rate variability, reflecting active emotional processing. Yet the body remains protected by muscle atonia, preventing physical enactment of dreams. The brain is learning that self-reflection does not always require defense. Over many nights, this shifts baseline identity expectations. Instead of predicting harsh self-attack, the brain begins predicting neutrality or steadiness. This shift is not dramatic. You will not wake transformed overnight, but the architecture beneath conscious thought is evolving. Identity is not declared in a single affirmation. It is built in thousands of micro-integrations. And then tonight, the integration includes safety. the internal model of you becomes slightly more balanced, slightly less extreme, slightly more forgiving in its predictions. You remain immersed in rhythmic cycles, unaware of the precision unfolding beneath. But even without awareness, the rewriting continues, subtle, cumulative, biologically grounded. As the night moves closer to its final third, the autonomic nervous system continues its delicate balancing act, and parasympathetic dominance remains strong during non-REM stages, while REM introduces dynamic shifts that still operate within overall safety. The nervous system learns not only through conscious thought, but through state memory. State memory refers to the way physiological conditions become associated with particular contexts. If bedtime frequently involves stress, racing thoughts, and self-judgment, the body can begin associating night with vigilance. But if bedtime repeatedly involves slow breathing, steady tone, and absence of internal conflict, the body begins associating night with calm. This associative learning occurs in limbic circuits, particularly involving the amygdala and hippocampus. Repeated pairing of nighttime with safety reduces anticipatory arousal. Over time, sleep onset latency shortens. Muscle tension decreases more quickly. Tonight adds one more data point to that associative network. Calm preceded sleep, had calm accompanied integration. Calm continues through cycles. Your cortisol rhythm, which naturally begins to rise slightly toward morning, remains within circadian bounds rather than stress-induced spikes. Growth and repair processes have had time to complete early night tasks. Emotional integration has progressed through multiple REM phases. The vagus nerve continues mediating heart rate variability, supporting cardiovascular balance. Inflammatory markers remain regulated. Brain temperature fluctuates within healthy nighttime ranges. You may be in a dream now, or perhaps in deep darkness without imagery. Either way, the body rests in learned safety. Imagine the nervous system like a library of states. Each night stores a record. Tonight's record says, rest can happen without threat. Reflection can occur without punishment. The body can surrender without losing protection. Over repeated nights, these records accumulate. The threshold for hyperarousal rises. Minor stresses trigger less intense physiological cascades. Emotional recovery accelerates. You are not consciously memorizing calm. Your autonomic system is encoding it implicitly. And implicit memory is powerful. It shapes reactions before thought intervenes. Breathing remains effortless. Muscles remain still. Brain rhythms continue their final cycles of synchronization and integration. The nervous system is remembering what equilibrium feels like, not because you forced it, but because you allowed it. As the night gently approaches its eventual turning point toward morning, the internal landscape remains steady. Calm is no longer a fragile state. It is becoming familiar, and familiarity, repeated often enough, becomes baseline. As the night progresses into its final rotations, your brain begins completing the last sequences of integration. REM sleep becomes longer now, sometimes vivid, sometimes abstract, sometimes entirely unremembered. In these extended REM phases, emotional circuitry is especially active. The amygdala hippocampus, and medial prefrontal regions communicate intensely, refining the emotional charge attached to stored memories. Yet even in this heightened neural activity, the chemical environment remains different from waking stress. Norepinephrine levels stay relatively low compared to daytime alertness, and this biochemical distinction allows emotional material to be revisited without overwhelming physiological activation. If earlier in life, certain experiences were stored with heightened alarm, repeated nights of safe REM processing can gradually reduce their intensity. This does not erase memory, it recalibrates it. The brain shifts from reactive encoding toward contextualized integration. Your breathing may fluctuate slightly in REM, becoming irregular for brief moments before settling again. Your heart rate may vary gently. These shifts reflect internal processing rather than danger. The body remains protected by muscle atonia, preventing full physical expression of dream imagery. Within these final cycles, your emotional baseline is being fine-tuned. Neural networks that link self-identity with threat are being counterbalanced by networks that link self-identity with regulation. Each night adds subtle reinforcement to whichever pattern dominates. Tonight, calm has been the dominant pattern. You are not consciously guiding this recalibration. The brain is performing a task it evolved to do: reduce excessive emotional volatility and maintain adaptive flexibility. Imagine a scale gradually finding equilibrium. On one side rests vigilance, on the other rests safety. With each calm integration, the scale tips slightly toward balance. Over time, this equilibrium becomes more stable. Emotional triggers provoke smaller spikes. Recovery occurs faster, your cognitive flexibility increases. You may be drifting through dream fragments now, faces blending, environments shifting. These dream sequences allow rehearsal of social scenarios in a lower threat environment. The brain experiments with outcomes, explores alternative responses, and embeds adaptive patterns into long-term memory networks. All of this unfolds beneath awareness, guided by neurochemical timing and rhythmic oscillations. As REM phases complete and brief micro-awakenings occur, often unnoticed, the brain resets for the next cycle. These micro-awakenings are normal checkpoints, ensuring safety before descent continues. Your nervous system remains calm enough that these checkpoints pass quickly. No prolonged alertness, no surge of vigilance. The final cycles continue their quiet balancing act. You remain supported, you remain safe, and the architecture of emotional regulation continues stabilizing in the background of night. Eventually, though not yet fully, the biological clock begins preparing for waking. The suprachiasmatic nucleus signals gradual hormonal shifts. Cortisol levels rise naturally to promote alertness, not as a stress signal, but as a part of circadian rhythm. Body temperature begins its slow upward curve. Because the night unfolded with relative calm, this transition emerges smoothly rather than abruptly, as the brain has completed much of its synaptic recalibration. Emotional integration has cycled through multiple REM periods. The default mode network prepares to reactivate with slightly adjusted baselines. You may still be deeply asleep as this preparation begins. Dreams may become lighter, more narrative. brain activity in certain cortical regions increases gradually. Yet the foundation laid earlier in the night remains influential. When waking eventually comes, the prefrontal cortex will resume its leadership role with refreshed metabolic resources. The amygdala will respond to stimuli with recalibrated thresholds. The hippocampus will carry newly integrated memory traces forward into conscious awareness. All of this preparation is happening now, invisibly. Imagine the horizon just beginning to lighten before sunrise. The sky is still dark, but subtle gradients appear. The world prepares quietly for daylight without sudden movement. Your internal world mirrors that horizon. Breathing continues steady. Muscles remain heavy. The last deep cycles conclude their work. The nervous system has stored another record of safety. The subconscious has reinforced the association between self-reflection and calm. The baseline expectation of internal threat has softened by small degrees. These degrees matter. In neural systems, incremental change accumulates exponentially over time. Soon, at a time beyond this moment, awareness will rise again. Thoughts will return. The narrative self will reassemble, but it will do so on slightly steadier ground. For now, remain within the final darkness. Let the preparation unfold without hurry. There's no need to anticipate waking. The body knows when to rise. Until then, rest in the gentle in-between, where night has nearly completed its work and morning waits patiently at the edge of rhythm. As the final stretch of night unfolds, the consciousness begins reassembling itself slowly, almost imperceptibly. This is not yet full waking, but a gradual increase in cortical activation. Brainstem arousal systems begin sending slightly stronger signals upward. The thalamus prepares to open sensory gates more widely. Yet because the night has been steady, this reassembly occurs gently rather than abruptly. There is no sharp surge of adrenaline, no sudden spike of vigilance. Instead, an activation rises like light filling a dim room, gradual, diffused, unhurried. During this transitional phase, REM sleep may blend with lighter non-REM stages. Dream imagery may become more coherent. You might experience fleeting awareness within a dream, or a brief recognition that you are about to wake. The brain is shifting from synchronized slow oscillations to more desynchronized patterns resembling waking, EEG activity. Beta and alpha frequencies begin to reappear, but the emotional recalibration accomplished earlier in the night continues shaping this reactivation. Cortisol, following its circadian rhythm, increases gradually to promote alertness and metabolic readiness. Importantly, this rise is different from stress-induced cortisol spikes. It is regulated, predictable, part of the body's design. Because internal hostility was not amplified before sleep, the morning cortisol rise interacts with a more balanced amygdala, and the emotional brain does not interpret awakening as immediate threat. You may still be asleep as this unfolds. Perhaps your breathing shifts slightly. Perhaps your body makes a small adjustment under the blankets. These micro movements signal the nervous system testing readiness. The default mode network begins warming up. preparing to reconstruct your narrative sense of self. Memories from yesterday remain integrated with softened edges. Your identity reassembles from networks that were refined overnight. Imagine a complex orchestra tuning quietly before a performance. Instruments return to pitch one by one. Strings hum softly. Wind instruments adjust. The conductor has not yet raised the baton. But preparation is underway. Your brain is that orchestra. Neural ensembles synchronize gradually into waking patterns. Prefrontal regions regain metabolic fuel. Dopamine systems begin reactivating motivational circuits. Yet beneath this rising activation, the calm baseline established overnight remains influential. Emotional triggers encountered later will pass through circuits that have just spent hours recalibrating under low-stress conditions. The nervous system remembers the night. It remembers that rest was safe. It remembers that reflection did not require attack. As consciousness gathers, there is no need to rush it. Waking will happen naturally when the threshold is reached. For now, you float in the borderland between sleep and awareness, not fully one, not fully the other. The reassembly continues softly, neuron by neuron, network by network, and the self that will soon open its eyes is emerging from a night shaped by safety. When waking finally arrives, gently, gradually, the brain steps into daylight with architecture subtly refined. Prefrontal circuits operate with slightly improved connectivity. The amygdala's reactivity remains tempered by the night's recalibration. Heart rate variability may be higher, reflecting balanced autonomic tone. You may not consciously notice these shifts. They are measured in milliseconds, in microvolts, in subtle changes of synaptic strength. But they influence how you interpret the first thought of the morning. Instead of immediate tension, there may be neutrality. Instead of sharp self-critique, there may be space. And that space is the result of overnight integration. Sleep did not transform you into someone new. It adjusted the probabilities. It lowered the intensity of certain circuits and strengthened others. It reduced excess activation and supported balanced responsiveness. As you move through the day ahead, whenever that day begins, challenges may still arise. Responsibilities will still exist, but the nervous system meets them from a slightly steadier foundation. And the vagus nerve continues mediating parasympathetic tone during waking moments of calm. If stress arises, the recalibrated baseline allows quicker recovery. The prefrontal cortex re-engages more effectively in reappraisal and flexible thinking. Self-love carried into the day is no longer a concept spoken in the dark. It is embodied regulation. It is the nervous system remembering that threat is not the default. Imagine stepping into morning light with muscles that rested deeply, yet with neural circuits that reorganized quietly. You carry forward the benefits of countless microscopic adjustments. Even if the mind resumes its familiar patterns, there is now a slightly different undercurrent, a slightly softer tone, a slightly wider pause before reaction. That pause is where freedom grows, and tonight's rest contributed to it. As the cycle of days and nights continues in the future, Each calm descent into sleep will add another layer of refinement, another quiet strengthening of safety circuits, another gentle weakening of unnecessary self-attack. For now, the night has completed its work. The brain has repaired, recalibrated, and reorganized. You have not forced change. You have allowed biology to function as designed. And whether you wake soon or drift again into lingering sleep, the essential truth remains steady beneath thought. Your brain is capable of rewiring toward balance. Your nervous system is capable of remembering calm, and each night of safety strengthens that memory, quietly, precisely, and without strain. Even after waking, something from the night remains. The nervous system does not reset to zero each morning. It carries forward traces of the states it practiced. If the night was fragmented by stress, that fragmentation echoes subtly into the day. But if the night unfolded in calm cycles of restoration, that calm leaves a residue, a physiological memory of safety. State-dependent learning tells us that the body and brain encode not only events, but the internal conditions surrounding those events. If you repeatedly enter sleep with slow breathing, reduced self-judgment, and steady emotional tone, those conditions become associated with rest and recovery. Over time, merely beginning your nighttime routine can trigger parasympathetic activation more quickly. This is how the nervous system learns efficiency. It anticipates what usually happens next. If calm consistently precedes sleep, anticipation shifts from vigilance to ease, and the same principle carries into waking hours. When the baseline expectation of internal threat decreases, the amygdala reacts with less intensity to minor stressors. The prefrontal cortex maintains greater regulatory capacity. The default mode network engages with slightly less rumination. You may not notice dramatic change, but perhaps there is a fraction more patience in your first interaction of the day, a fraction more neutrality when a memory surfaces. These small differences are the visible edges of invisible rewiring. Neuroplastic change often appears first as subtle shifts in reactivity, a slightly longer pause before self-criticism, a slightly softer tone when reflecting on a mistake. These pauses matter. Within them, alternative circuits have space to activate. The nervous system, having rehearsed calm repeatedly overnight, recognizes that calm as familiar. Familiarity reduces uncertainty. Reduced uncertainty lowers baseline anxiety. You carry forward the imprint of rhythmic delta waves, of REM integration, of parasympathetic steadiness. Though invisible, these imprints shape perception. Self-love, in this carried-over form, is not an emotion you must generate deliberately. It is the absence of immediate internal hostility. It is the nervous system not defaulting to defense at the slightest cue. Each night builds upon the previous one. The architecture becomes more stable. Emotional regulation requires less conscious effort, and the memory of safety lingers, not as a thought, but as a tone beneath thought. And that tone influences how the day unfolds. The relationship between day and night is reciprocal. How you spend your day influences your sleep. How you sleep influences your day. This cycle can either reinforce stress or reinforce balance. When daytime self-criticism elevates stress chemistry persistently, sleep becomes fragmented. Fragmented sleep then increases next-day emotional reactivity and making self-criticism more likely. The loop tightens. But the opposite loop is also possible. When you practice even brief moments of internal steadiness during the day, sleep deepens. When sleep deepens, emotional regulation improves. Improved regulation reduces self-attack. The loop begins reinforcing calm instead of stress. Neural systems thrive on feedback loops. They adjust based on repeated input. Each calm night strengthens inhibitory circuits that temper threat responses. Each regulated morning reinforces the possibility of balanced reactions. You do not need perfection to strengthen this cycle. You need repetition. Even 1 minute of slow breathing before sleep can nudge the autonomic system toward parasympathetic dominance. Even a brief interruption of self-criticism during the day can prevent full stress cascades. The brain responds to trends rather than isolated events. If the overall trend shifts toward safety, architecture follows. Imagine the nervous system as a riverbed. Water flows where it has flowed before, but over time, consistent, gentle redirection can carve new channels. These new channels do not appear overnight. They deepen gradually with each repetition. Sleep is one of the most powerful opportunities for redirection because it combines biochemical reset, synaptic recalibration, and emotional integration in a single biological process. When you allow nights like this, steady, unforced, free from internal attack, you strengthen the positive loop. Tomorrow night will be influenced by tonight. The nervous system will remember how it felt to descend without urgency. Over weeks and months, these nights accumulate. Emotional resilience grows not from dramatic breakthroughs, but from consistent restoration. You are participating in that cycle simply by allowing rest. The brain is not asking for intensity. It is asking for repetition. And repetition of safety, paired with sleep, it becomes a powerful architect of change. The cycle strengthens quietly. Balance reinforces itself. And with each passing night, the possibility of waking into steadiness grows more familiar, more accessible, and more deeply wired into the structure of your being. Real change in the brain rarely announces itself. It does not arrive with sudden clarity or dramatic emotional shifts. Instead, it unfolds along a long arc, measured in repeated states, repeated nights, and repeated moments of reduced internal threat. Neuroplasticity operates through gradual adjustments in synaptic strength, dendritic branching, and network connectivity. When certain pathways are activated less frequently, their synaptic efficiency decreases through processes like long-term depression. When alternative pathways are activated more consistently, they strengthen through long-term potentiation. If self-criticism once fired automatically at the smallest trigger, that automaticity was built through repetition. But automaticity can be rebuilt. Each night of calm consolidation slightly reduces the relative dominance of threat-based pathways. Each morning of steadier reactivity reinforces emerging circuits of regulation. This is the long arc. You may not feel different after one night. You may not notice transformation after a week. But beneath conscious awareness, micro-adjustments accumulate. Neural networks reorganize subtly. Baseline stress thresholds shift. Research on mindfulness and compassion-based practices shows structural changes in regions associated with emotional regulation after consistent repetition over time. Increased cortical thickness in the prefrontal cortex. Decreased amygdala volume in some studies. Enhanced connectivity between regulatory and emotional regions. These findings remind us that the brain remains dynamic throughout life. Age does not eliminate plasticity. Habit shapes it, and sleep amplifies this shaping. During slow wave phases, synaptic downscaling resets overactive circuits. During REM, associative integration links new emotional tones with existing memory networks. When nights are entered with calm rather than hostility, the long arc bends gently towards safety. Imagine standing far above a landscape, watching a river slowly alter its course over years. The changes are imperceptible day to day, yet undeniable over time. Neural change is similar. Tonight was one more subtle nudge in the direction of balance. There is no need to monitor progress obsessively. Monitoring itself can reactivate evaluative circuits. Trust in repetition instead. Each calm descent into sleep, each softened internal tone, each moment of allowing rather than attacking. These are the forces shaping the arc. You are not required to feel extraordinary. You are participating in a biological process that favors consistency over intensity, and the long arc continues quietly, bending towards steadiness, guided by nights like this. And now, even as these reflections gently settle, the invitation returns not toward analysis, but toward rest. The brain does not require constant cognitive engagement to change. In fact, deep change often happens when conscious thought relaxes. Notice again your breathing. Whether you are fully awake or drifting at the edge of sleep, the breath remains the anchor between voluntary and involuntary systems. A single slower exhale can reactivate parasympathetic tone even during the day. This means the cycle of calm is never far away. It is accessible through simple physiological shifts. If your eyes are closed, let them remain heavy. If you are listening in a half-waking state, allow yourself to sink again. There is no rush to complete understanding. Self-love in this moment is not a conclusion. It is a posture of non-aggression toward yourself. It is the willingness to pause before escalating internal judgment. The nervous system responds quickly to that pause. Heart rate slows slightly, muscle tension decreases, cortical noise softens. You can return to rest repeatedly at night during brief daytime breaks, in quiet transitions between tasks. Each return strengthens the safety loop. Imagine laying down heavy armor piece by piece, the helmet of constant monitoring, the shield of defensiveness, the weight of self-critique. As each piece lowers, the body breathes easier. Nothing about you needs to be eliminated for calm to exist. Calm can coexist with imperfection. Let that understanding settle again. There is no urgency here. If sleep is calling once more, answer gently. If wakefulness remains, carry the tone forward without analysis. The architecture built overnight remains intact. The arc of neural change continues quietly. Rest is not weakness. It is biological maintenance. Safety is not indulgence. It is regulation. And the more often you return to this state, whether in darkness or daylight, the more deeply your brain remembers how to find it. So soften again. Let thought fade to the background. Allow the steady rhythms beneath consciousness to resume their quiet work. You are safe, and safety, repeated, becomes the foundation upon which everything else can gently grow. Somewhere beneath ambition, beneath comparison, and beneath the constant measuring of yourself against invisible standards, there is a quieter biological truth. Your nervous system does not require perfection to function well. It requires regulation. The idea of being enough is often treated as philosophical or emotional, but it has physiological implications. When the brain perceives chronic inadequacy, it can interpret that perception as ongoing social threat. Social threat activates similar neural pathways as physical threat, particularly within the amygdala and anterior cingulate cortex. But when the internal narrative softens, even slightly, the nervous system recalibrates. Heart rate variability increases. Stress hormone secretion stabilizes. Inflammatory responses decrease over time. Enough is not a performance evaluation. It is a signal to the body that vigilance can lower. Throughout the night, your brain rehearsed this signal implicitly. It experienced hours without internal attack. It integrated memory without condemnation. It recalibrated emotional intensity without urgency. That experience becomes data. The next time self-criticism attempts to surge automatically, there is now competing evidence in your neural history. Calm occurred, and nothing catastrophic followed. This is how the biology of enough grows stronger. Not through forced affirmation, but through repeated safe states. And notice how your body feels right now. Whether you are deeply relaxed or gently aware, there is no immediate danger in this moment. The floor is steady. The air is breathable. The environment is stable. Your nervous system responds to present evidence. If present evidence says safe, internal alarms can quiet. Over time, the brain learns to default less often to inadequacy as threat. It begins to interpret imperfection as information rather than danger. This shift does not eliminate ambition. It stabilizes it. Growth pursued from regulation is more sustainable than growth pursued from fear. Biology favors balance. Neurons function best within optimal ranges of activation, not under chronic overload. To be enough in biological terms means to exist without constant sympathetic activation. It means allowing the parasympathetic system to dominate frequently enough to restore equilibrium. Tonight, equilibrium was practiced, and equilibrium, repeated often enough, becomes baseline. As the edges of this journey dissolve, the invitation is no longer toward understanding, but toward silence. The brain has absorbed what it needs. The nervous system has rehearsed calm. The emotional circuits have recalibrated within safe chemistry. Now there is only the quiet continuation of rest. Breathing remains steady. Inhale, exhale, without commentary. If thoughts arise, they are faint. They lack urgency. They pass without argument. This is the state where words become unnecessary, yet the deeper systems operate independently of language. Neurons fire in slow, synchronized pulses. Synapses strengthen and weaken according to recent patterns. The glymphatic system continues its cleansing flow. Hormonal rhythms align with circadian timing. There is no need to guide anything now, no need to reflect further. You are carried by rhythm, safe, supported, drifting between awareness and darkness. The body is heavy, the mind is light. Any remaining tension can dissolve downward, like mist settling over a still landscape. You are not required to hold on to the concept of self-love. It has already translated into physiology, into slower heartbeats, into steadier breath, into balanced neural firing. The final descent is gentle, no abrupt ending, no sharp boundary, just a gradual fading of language into quiet. You are safe now. Drift further. Let the last fragments of thought soften and blur. The night continues its steady rhythm beyond these words. And within that rhythm, in your brain continues to refine itself toward balance, quietly, precisely, without effort. Drift away, drift away. Now there is almost nothing left to hold on to. The science has done its work. The explanations have softened into tone. The tone has softened into rhythm. And rhythm has softened into silence. What remains is the quiet field beneath thought, the steady biological hum that continues whether or not you're aware of it. Your heart is still beating with quiet precision. Electrical impulses move through specialized cardiac cells in perfectly timed sequences. Your lungs expand and contract without instruction. Oxygen enters the bloodstream. Carbon dioxide leaves. Cells exchange nutrients in microscopic conversations that never require your attention. The brain, even in deep sleep, never truly turns off. It shifts modes, it changes frequencies, it reduces noise, it restores balance. Delta waves rise and fall. REM pulses shimmer and fade. Neurons fire together and rest together. There is no judgment in this process, no evaluation of worth, no comparison. Biology does not measure you against anyone else. It responds only to patterns of activation and rest. Tonight, the pattern has been steady, safe enough. And that safety continues now, beyond words, beyond deliberate awareness. If you are asleep, these sounds simply blend into the background of neural rhythm. If you hover at the edge of consciousness, let yourself sink again, and there is nothing more to process. Imagine floating in deep, warm water, not moving, not striving, just supported. That support mirrors what your nervous system feels when parasympathetic tone dominates, when heart rate variability remains steady, when the amygdala rests, when the prefrontal cortex yields. Nothing dramatic is happening, and that is exactly the point. Healing is often quiet. Rewiring is subtle. Safety is simple. The quiet that remains is not emptiness. It is equilibrium. And equilibrium is where the brain performs its finest calibrations, adjusting synaptic weights, refining predictive models, balancing excitation and inhibition. You do not need to witness any of this. Just rest. The quiet continues. Let the edges of everything blur now. No beginning, no middle, no end. Just steady breath and fading awareness. If a thought appears, it has no sharp outline. It dissolves before it forms fully. And this is the brain shifting deeper into synchronized rest. Less narrative, more rhythm. The thalamus filters external signals heavily. The cortex hums in slow oscillations. Subcortical systems maintain life with effortless precision. There is no need to understand any of this anymore. Understanding belongs to waking. This belongs to sleep. You are not trying to become better. You are not trying to solve yourself. You are not trying to achieve self-love as a concept. Here you are allowing safety to be the background condition of your nervous system. And safety does not shout. It whispers, breathing in, breathing out. Your jaw is loose. Your shoulders are heavy. Your eyes rest deeply in their sockets. The body trusts the surface beneath it. The mind trusts the rhythm beneath thought. There is nothing left to add, only a gentle repetition. You are safe now. Drift away. Drift away. Let the words thin out like mist in early morning light, as let silence expand between each phrase. The night holds you without condition, and in that holding, your brain continues its quiet, biological wisdom, refining, balancing, restoring, long after language disappears. Drift further, no edges, no effort, only the steady pulse of life carrying you through the rest of the night. There is almost nothing left now but softness, the rhythm of breath, slow and even, the quiet pulse of your heart, steady and unhurried, and the darkness behind closed eyes, wide and gentle. Words are no longer instructions. They are distant echoes, fading into the background of deeper biological rhythms. Your brain has moved fully into its night architecture. Large neural networks synchronize and desynchronize in carefully timed cycles. Synapses adjust their strength by microscopic degrees. Emotional intensity continues softening at the edges. There is no dramatic breakthrough happening, no sudden transformation, only refinement, tiny calibrations, small corrections, subtle balancing between excitation and inhibition. The nervous system prefers this kind of work, quiet, repetitive, unobserved. If a dream flickers, let it flicker. If nothing appears at all, let the darkness remain. Both are natural. Both are part of integration. Your body is warm and supported. Muscles are fully released. The tiny stabilizing fibers along your spine, your jaw, your brow, all resting. Breath continues without supervision. Inhale, exhale. Each cycle reinforces the same steady message, safe enough. The amygdala rests from scanning. The prefrontal cortex rests from evaluating. The default mode network rests from narrating. There is no identity to defend right now, no story to maintain. Just life unfolding quietly inside cells and circuits. If awareness rises briefly, let it sink again. There is nothing more to understand. The processes that matter most are already in motion beneath thought. At the echo of earlier ideas, neuroplasticity, integration, regulation has served its purpose. Now only tone remains, soft, slow, steady. You are not required to hold on to this experience. It is already encoded in state memory. The nervous system remembers what calm feels like without needing you to describe it. The last soft echo fades now into something even quieter, into silence between breaths, into darkness between neural pulses. Drift further. Let the edges dissolve completely, and nothing to fix, nothing to prove, nothing to achieve. Only the steady biological wisdom that carries you through the final stretch of night. Now even these words become unnecessary. The science has become sensation. The explanation has become rhythm. The rhythm has become rest. You are safe now, safe in the steadiness of your breathing, safe in the quiet pulse beneath your ribs, safe in the synchronized waves moving across your sleeping brain. There is no conclusion needed, no final insight, or no summary, only continuation. The night continues whether language does or not. Delta waves rise and fall in slow, powerful arcs. REM cycles shimmer gently. Synapses adjust. Circuits rebalance. The nervous system remains in parasympathetic ease. You are not being judged. You are not being measured. You are not being evaluated. You are simply resting inside a body designed for repair. If awareness is still faintly present, let it soften now. Let the last thread of monitoring release, and the surface beneath you holds your weight without effort. The air moves in and out without demand. You are safe now. Drift away. Drift away. Let the words stretch farther apart. Longer pauses, softer tone. The final signal is not instruction. It is reassurance. You are safe now. Drift away. Drift away. And as the voice fades, the night continues, steady, rhythmic, and kind, carrying you deeper into sleep without edges, without urgency, without end. And you are safe now. There is nothing more to add, nothing more to explain, nothing more to understand. The night is steady, breath moving in, breath moving out, slow, even, unwatched. Your heart continues its quiet rhythm, a soft pulse beneath everything else. Your brain continues its synchronized waves, rising, falling, resting, recalibrating in darkness. No effort required, no improvement needed, no version of you to chase. Just this gentle biological intelligence carrying you forward through the remaining hours of night. If a thought begins to form, it fades before finishing. If a dream begins to shimmer, it drifts without urgency. You are not holding yourself together. You are being held by rhythm. Safe now. Drift away. Drift away. Longer pauses between each breath. Softer space between each word. The body heavy, the mind quiet. The nervous system resting in equilibrium. Safe now. No edges, no strain, no monitoring. Only darkness that feels warm instead of empty. Only silence that feels full instead of lonely. The waves continue beneath awareness. The repair continues beneath thought. You are safe now. Drift away, and let the rest of the night unfold without you needing to follow it at all.